Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.
This is going to be mentioning the name of a deceased brother, and yeah, so anyone that's related to him that knows him, my condolences and all my prayers and thoughts go out to your family. I'm only sharing this story for educational purposes, only to let the youth know that dramas that occur in jail can always follow you outside, and loyalty is not always loyalty. So this is in Kempsey. It's roughly 09, 010, maybe 011. There's that many wars that's happened. It was around them times because I got tipped 012 and went to Supermax. So my mate Marlon, he's a local from there. So he had the jail on lock. And when I say the jail was on lock, I mean with snug drays, Izzet V's and all that, you know, so he had the LJ on lock. Well, he was in C-Pod at the time, I was in D-Pod, I was a Koori delegate, so I could move around the jail and I had access around the jail, right? So me and Marlon were very close, so I used to go and see Marlon every day. I used to train, do laps with Marlon, a couple other boys from Tari, and he was in a pod full of Asians. Now the brothers had numbers in there, but it was a working pod, so through the day, Marlon was the sweeper. And most Asians that were there had a stay in the pod job as well, like a library sweeper, wing sweeper, laundry sweeper, so this role consists of, they didn't have to go to workshops. So this is where you have to remember later on in the story how this was dangerous for Marlon, me and another brother. So what happened was, Marlon was in C-Wing and Marlon had the jail on lock with the Ugdrays and the Asians, so they started to do business together, right? And when they started to do business together, it was all sweet. And there's a golden rule, bro, with business in jail. It's always should be cash up. They got friendship mixed up with their business, and thought that, you know, that friendship could be strong enough to get through drug deals continuously, which obviously we all know how this works out in the end, and this is how it turned out later, right? So what happened was, Marlon, he wasn't doing that long, but he was in Maxo because he couldn't get a C classer. So they were doing business together, and everything was sweet for a while. Like Kempsey Jail was sweet, they were doing business. They had the sneer game, Marlon had the op pay, they were doing their thing, everything runs smooth, right? Unbeknownst to Marlon, that this bloke started, this Asian bloke's visit come 1 week, come next week, then started to fall short, but he was consistent for months. So he was getting full iftifay off Marlon, and then Marlon was getting upgrades off him and we're partying, right? So one visit fell short, so he owed Marlon money. Second visit, the next weekend, didn't come, he owed Marlon money. Third weekend, didn't get what was expected, so he only gave Marlon a little bit. Then it come around to us that this bloke was getting out in the next 10 days. And he owed a couple of $1,000s now, not just for pot, for other things that were going on as well that I didn't know of until later. Anyways, so Marlon confronted him one day when they were in the wing by themselves. He went up to the cell and said, "Listen, bro, you need to fix this bill up. I heard that you're going home." And he brushed Marlon off. He said, get out. Don't worry about it. I'll sort it. Even if I get out, I'll fix it when I get out. Don't worry, I'll sort it. And Marlon was like, "Nah, lad, I'm not putting that much trust in you where you're going to get out and you're going to pay me when you get out. Nah, that's not happening. You'll be paying me before you leave. Here's the account numbers. You'll be fixing it." And he was like, "No, lad, listen, I'll fix it. Don't worry, bro. I've got to use it. I'm not going home for another 10 days this Easter. So I just get out. What are you doing, bro? Don't come. You get out." So Marlon's called me across. So like I said, I was Aboriginal delegate, right? So Marlon's called me across and said, "Listen, bro, I think I'm going to have a one-on-one with this Asian dude. No one's ever in the pod. It's going to be the best time to do it is when everyone's at work, because when everyone's at work, the screws leave as well. There's no screws in the pod. They just leave the 5 or 6 sweepers in there, and then they go. And they don't come back till 2:30, you know what I mean? So I'm going to get him. I'm going to get him when I just want you to come over so you can watch because there's 5 of them. You know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, sweet, no worries, bro. Whenever you want to do it, like, let me know. Just call out to me. I'll come across. So there was 3 of us, 6 or 7 of them. So I suppose it wasn't really a massive race war, but it was a race war where what's significant about this race war is someone ends up passing away or being declared dead and never to be found again, and they believe that these Asians were involved in it, but I'll get to that at the end. So what happened was, like that weekend come, and this Asian dude never got the visit because he's going home, bro. It was never happening. That's why he's told his people to stop. He was never ever going to pay this debt. He was never ever going to pay this. Never ever going to pay his debt. He was never paying his bill. They already had it planned, and this is what it was, And Marlon read the play, so like it come to this. Do you know what I mean? Like it come to where we're going to have a fight over it, right? So the weekend come, the visit doesn't come. Monday he calls me over and said, listen, bro, like I'm going to do it tomorrow. I need one of them or 2, and I need you to come over. Well, he got another young brother to stay back the next day as well, right? So there was 3 of us. So I said, yeah, sweet. So I went back, I went to the wing, I got an equaliser, then I grabbed the shitty equaliser. So I grabbed the proper equaliser and I grabbed the shitty equaliser, and I took them over to Mal. Mal put them where they needed to go, and we done laps, and we said, listen, we're going to do it as soon as work goes. They do all the morning medication, and there's no screws in the circle, and they can see in the wing. You tell the screw that you want to see me on the circle. I'll come across, and we'll do our thing when they come back from the law, like when they come back from doing their library run, their books, and all that stuff. As soon as they come in the wing after lunch, we'll get them, because the screws will come around and drop the barra off out the front of the wing, and obviously we'll have to go and get it, so the screws will be there. So from 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock, there's no one in the wing. No one in the wing. So the next morning, sweet, everything happens the way it was meant to. I go over there, it's on, right? So when I go over there, Marlon says, listen, I'm just going to walk up to the cell and I'm just going to attack him. I said, yeah, done, sweet, all good, right? So there's 7 Asians in there. I've got 1 blade, he's got 1 blade, Marlon's got a cricket bat. Now, I don't know if you've ever done prison. In prison, you've got a yellow hard cricket bat, like a yellow hard, it's like a plastic, some sort of hard plastic. I don't know what it is. It's a hard fucking cricket bat, bro. It's hard to explain, but it's yellow, right? But it's hard plastic, right? So Marlon's got that. Well, these Asians, they must have smelt the air, bro. They must have seen the day and a half before and the talk on the weekend and just picked up on a vibe, because they were ready, bro. They were ready. They knew what was about to happen. They knew that things were getting positioned, and they must have picked up on, as I said in many of my jail fights and jail stories and wars, you smell it in the air. You feel the difference in air tension. You feel the difference in atmosphere. You just feel it. You know that something's about to pop off. You don't know what, but you just know something's going to pop off. So they felt it in the air. So anyways, when Marlon said, come on, I'm going to go up there, I'm going to go pull him out. I said, yeah, sweet, no worries, all good, let's go. So he's walked up with a cricket bat, and I've had the blade, Gums had a blade, and we've walked up there. But as you in Kempsey Seapod, you've got a set of stairs that go that way and a set of stairs that go that way, right? Now, they lived halfway in the middle, right? So you've got another stairs that comes down, but you've only got stairs there and stairs there, right? So they live over here. So Marlon goes up them stairs, we come up these stairs. So they can't, if they come out of this cell, they've either got to run to me or run through Marlon. So Marlon goes up there and he says, oi, bruh, there was 5 other Asians in the cell. This is how I knew they knew that it was going to be on, right? So by the time we've walked up and around, Marlon's already come up the stairs and he's met old mate at the cell, and he says, oi, bro, we're having a go. You owe me money, we're fucking having a go, you know? Well, old mate's jumped up and started swearing at Marlon, you know? So Marlon's just grabbed the cricket bat. Well, as soon as Marlon's gone like that, I've seen him come rushing out the door. The Asian that was sitting on the toilet jumped up and hit Marlon in the face with a blade. stabbed him straight under the eye and cut his face. So Marlon's obviously gone back and swung the cricket bat and like missed. Well, as he swung the cricket bat and missed, the vibration in the hit had made it swing out his hand and come like straight past the agent, you know. Now he's got nothing and they've rushed him. So he's had to run down the stairs and we've had to turn around and run down the stairs to cut them off. Well, that's give Marlon time to go and grab like a mop stick. The only thing he could grab was a mop stick. He just had a cricket bat, bro, but as he's gone to swing the cricket bat and it's missed the agent, like I said, it's hit the pole and swung that way. Now the agent's already stabbed him in the face. Like, as soon as he's come in the door, he already stabbed him in the face. So as he stabbed him in the face, Marlon's had to turn around and try to get out of there as they've chased him. So we've come down the other stairs. Marlon's grabbed the mop stick and like Marlon's into him at the bottom of the stairs. So it's now broken out, like we're into the Asians, they're into us, you know. Marlon's been stabbed in the face. Obviously I got stabbed in the hand, I got stabbed in the wrist, I got stabbed up under the arm again. Like, I must have 100 holes just from little Asians, bro. Like, all the scars on my body are all from Asians, right? So what happened was, as the fight was happening, and like the Asians they were half by beating us, but they weren't. It was just like they were trapped on the bottom stairs, and we were around them. So it was just in a little confined space on the stairs. There was an officer that happened to be checking cameras, just happened to be checking cameras and looking in wings to make sure everyone's doing their right job. And it's opened up, and we've had this little melee, right? That happened at the bottom of the stairs, right? So we're into it. I've been stabbed. Marlon's been stabbed. They're bashing old mate with the fucking mop stick. We're into it, you know, like, and it's getting messy. People are getting fucking stabbed and chased around. Well, the squad come and they gas us. Well, when they gas us and zip tie us and whatnot, they try to zip tie the numbers first and control the numbers, which were the Asians, you know. So we've taken off out the back. We've tried to throw the blades on the roof. The roof's kind of bent like that, so it's hit the roof and come back down. They've got the blade. They've got us. We're going to Segra. I'm going to hospital first. Marlon goes to hospital. But this whole story is really not about the war. This whole story is about what happens after being released from prison. Like, so my mate, Marlon, this Asian gets out from Segra. We're all in Segra, right? So my mate, this bloke gets out. My mate gets out a couple of months after him. He goes to Newcastle. We're all still in prison, right? Marlon's out, you know, which is good, yeah? He got stitches in his face. He had a scar. He was burning because he was getting out, and he was getting out with a scar under his face and stitches and whatnot. He was burning. So when he gets out, he goes to Newcastle. He goes to Newcastle, jumps on a train, goes to Sydney. Now, when he gets to Sydney, he gets spotted in Sydney once or twice in my area, Waterloo, and around the city, and then goes missing, right? Now, this has been 13 years. So this was 012, this happened, right? So I was right, you know, because I left Kempsey and went to the Supermax. So this has been 13 years, right? And the rumour is that the Asian that we had dramas with was a massive trump for a Sydney Asian gang in Haymarket. The boss, the Trump of all Trumps. He was the man for this gang, right? And I've heard all this before. I've heard it many a times, like, oh, you don't know who you fuck with, this bloke's dangerous, this bloke's tough, this bloke's all this. Yeah, all good. Like, I've never really cared, never had any repercussions other than a race war in jail or a one-on-one. So it was never really something that we took seriously. But even before we had this fight and we planned it, there was other people from other nationalities saying, bro, this bloke's known outside, this bloke's is, probably might not be a good idea, like, rah, try to sort it out. Marlon was like, nah, fuck that, he owes money, bro, he's going, it's a brother's jail, he's going, lad, I don't give a fuck, you owe me money, I'm not a fucking ickhead, lad. So, we're all in jail, right, and we get a message that, oi, Marlon's missing. So what do you mean Marlon's missing? Bro, no one's seen Marlon for a couple of months. He went to Sydney and he hasn't been seen since. then it comes on the news. And then when it come on the news said at first, oh, it might be gang related. Didn't say anything else. Just said it might be gang related. Marlon's a known standover man. Marlon's done 100 years in prison. He's a known standover man. He's known to bash bikies. He's had recent dramas with an Asian gang. And we're asking for anybody with information about a prison war that happened on this day, and anybody that has any knowledge of this prison war, can you please reach out to the police, because we believe the prison war may be stemming to him now being missing. So fast forward 13 years, Marlon still has not been found. No one knows where my brother's whereabouts is, and I know someone out there does, and I know somebody's responsible for it. And let me tell you, when we find out who you are, when we find out, that's all. Love will be coming your way in massive amounts. That's all I'm saying on that. But when we find out who you are, I'll be sending you love wholly. And so Marlon has now been missing for 13 years. He's got a wife, he's got kids, he's got a mum, he's got sisters, he's got nephews, he's got nieces, he's got cousins. All these people have never been able to put their son, their brother, their husband, their father to rest. They have never been able to give this bloke a burial that he deserved. He was a warrior. He was a warrior. He was a warrior. All over a race war that followed him outside of prison on 20, thank you, bro. All because of a debt that someone didn't want to pay to him, or because of a race war that begun in prison, followed him outside, supposedly, and my bra has been missing for 13 years. Oh, hey, Marky, thanks for the TikTok note, lad, I appreciate you. My point of this whole story is, there's people today running around like gangsters, thinking that it's cool to either have a MIN number, to be in prison, to be involved in gangs, but when people go missing, when people start losing lives and it becomes real, you can't get out of it. You can't reverse any action that has been committed. You can't reverse any part that you've played. You can't reverse any of that. Like, oh hey, Philos and Daddy, Fats, Mama, thank you, bruh. My whole thing is, like, jail will change you mentally, jail will change you physically, but jail can actually follow you to the outside. The dramas you have in prison, the dramas you own in prison can follow you to the outside, same as the dramas from the outside can follow you into prison.